Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel GMB SHOW. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Ben Shephard left fans gobsmacked by disclosing his cameo in a Harry Potter film. The revelation emerged during an episode of This Morning, which Ben co-hosts with Kat Deely. Ben's foray into acting came to light during an interview with White Lotus star Jason Isaacs on Monday's 24th February show. While discussing Harry Potter, Kat suddenly said, "You mentioned before about Harry Potter. You were in Harry Potter as well. Did you know that?" gesturing towards Ben. Jason, who portrayed Lucius Malfoy in the films, was surprised by the news, leading Ben to admit he had a small part in Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, the franchise's sixth installment. An image flashed on screen showing Ben unrecognizable with long brown locks and a full mustache, reports Wales Online. Despite Jason confessing he kept nothing from the Harry Potter sets, Ben shared that he snagged one of the letters sent to Harry before his journey to Hogwarts. Ben's scene took place in Fred and George's Weasley's Wizard Wheezes shop in Diagon Alley, but unfortunately, his contribution was uncredited and ultimately edited out. Ben's acting endeavors don't end with Harry Potter. He also appeared in the legendary sitcom Friends. Hosting Good Morning Britain, Ben once spoke about his stint on the American series, describing it as a privilege. Ben reminisced about a memorable encounter on GMB, saying, "Friends was at its peak. I got to interview co-creator Marta Kaufman on set. She was brilliant. While we were talking, I knew they were shooting Joey's premiere that night. I said to the crew, why don't I try and angle this interview and get us on set?" He continued, reflecting on his interaction with Kaufman, "I'd been chatting with Marta, saying we were really looking forward to seeing it because it's red carpet and part of our trade. It was an absolute privilege to be there, for all of us actually." For more than 2 decades, Ben Shephard has been a familiar face to viewers, whether guiding nervous contestants through Tipping Point, sparring with co-hosts on Good Morning Britain, or flashing his trademark grin that made him a household name. But this week, Ben left fans stunned when he revealed an unexpected and magical chapter from his past, his secret cameo in the Harry Potter film franchise. It began with a casual conversation on This Morning while discussing childhood dreams. One guest mentioned wishing they'd been part of the wizarding world, and Ben chuckled before saying, almost offhandedly, "Funny you should say that, I actually was." The studio erupted into laughter until Ben produced an old yellowed Polaroid that silenced everyone. There he was, barely in his 30s, dressed in tattered robes, his hair long and messy, his face hidden behind grime and prosthetics. Viewers squinted in disbelief as Ben explained, "I played a ministry wizard during the Order of the Phoenix battle scenes. I was in the background of the Department of Mysteries. You'd never know it was me. I barely knew it was me at the time." The story tumbled out like a well-kept secret he'd finally been allowed to share. Back in the mid-2000s, before Tipping Point launched, Ben had been approached by a friend in the film industry who needed reliable extras for the chaotic battle scenes. They wanted people who could take direction, move quickly, and not giggle when fireballs were flying around, he recalled with a grin. "I thought, why not? I was a huge fan of the books." His day on set was surreal. He was handed a wand, told to look menacing, and marched down the echoing corridors of the Ministry of Magic as spells ricocheted around him. In one moment, he even stood just a few feet away from Helena Bonham Carter as Bellatrix Lestrange cackled manically. "She was terrifying even between takes," Ben admitted. "I remember thinking, this is very different from hosting a quiz show." For years, the scene lived in the vaults of his memory, largely unnoticed because his face was smothered in makeup and he blended into the crowd of dark-robed wizards. But with streaming platforms reigniting Pottermania, eager-eyed fans had started pausing and rewinding. A clip surfaced on social media where a robed figure ducks behind a crumbling wall, and sharp-eyed viewers began whispering, "That looks like Ben Shephard." Now, seeing the footage side by side with Ben's Polaroid, fans were convinced. Twitter flooded with jokes, saying, "So that's where he learned his tipping point magic tricks," and "Move over Gryffindor, Shephard belongs in Slytherin." Ben, ever the good sport, laughed along. "I suppose I can say I've lived two dreams," he reflected warmly. "One as a TV presenter, and one as a very, very minor wizard. Both magical in their own way." And just like that, Ben Shephard, quizmaster, presenter, and now Wizarding World alumni, proved once again that he has more tricks up his sleeve than anyone ever imagined.